this is Megan,
And this is the Magical Happy Hour.
a podcast where we share our love of Disney and theme parks, travel tips, food.
And anything else we feel like talking about.
We're in our second episode. As we continue with these episodes, you might notice, hopefully notice a good change in quality. We're growing, we're getting our little experiences as we continue on. And fun news, we soft launched the podcast today. How'd that go?
We sure did. So far, so good, man. People are excited. People are excited to listen. I think a lot of people were excited to figure out what it was that we were working on because we have been teasing that for a little while. I've told a few friends that we're starting a podcast, but definitely the majority didn't know. So that was kind of fun today, talking to everyone and hearing how excited they are. Even made me more excited for it. So
I can't believe how many people have shown interest of, like, they wanna be on. Like, I have people coming to me now being like, "Oh, I can be the, boyfriend tips," being the Disney boyfriend. It's like, "Oh, okay." They're like, "Yeah, let me come on, share I like it, but, I'm the boyfriend. I'm the Disney boyfriend with the Disney lover girlfriend, so I can talk about, like, my side of things." I was like, "Oh, yeah." Love
All
that.
right, you guys. So let us know if that's something that you want to hear. Disney boyfriend tips
Mhm,
when you are dating the Disney
mhm.
girl
I
and you're trying to survive in the parks.
So, yeah, Disney boyfriend survival tips, survival guide
Yeah,
from a male
yeah,
perspective. Not
yeah.
that Disney isn't.
That's funny.
Mhm. Disney's for everyone, so, but truly, I sometimes you're the Disney partner, you know?
Yes.
Also, and then I won't, drag this on, but, parents of a friend of mine wanna be on the podcast. They're Orlando locals and love Disney, and they're like, "Oh, have us on."
Oh, that sounds
I'm like,
fun.
gotta talk to my partner, and we'll see how it goes.
So they go to Disney World a lot then?
I assume so. I mean, I know that there was certainly a time when they were, but it's definitely something that they love doing. They come out and visit their child out here, and they go to the parks in California too. So they're a whole bundle.
That's super fun. Okay, awesome. So let's get into it. This episode, we're going to be talking a lot about Pixar Fest. You couldn't tell by the title of our episode. I saw about a day's worth of Pixar Fest. I was there on the 25th and 26th, and it started on the 26th. So I got to see a little bit of it, didn't really experience as much of it as I was hoping for because the 26th, the day of the actual launch of the event, we were in Disneyland that day. And although there is a lot more being offered in Disneyland than there is for most of the festivals that take place in California, there still wasn't as much to experience as there is at California Adventure. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back. But aside from Pixar Fest, there is a few hot topics that we were wanting to cover. So number one, Tiana's Bayou Adventure has their opening date for Walt Disney
Oh my
World, which is
gosh.
super
It's
exciting.
so exciting. It feels like such a long time coming, and for it to be here,
It has been.
like, I'm here for the spoilers. I'm so nosy. I'm so curious. Let me look at the ride. Let me see. Let me see what we're working with here.
You need to ride through
I
already.
do. And I put off so long looking at the videos of, like, them showing the animatronics and those explanations, but once I did, I'm, like, itching for it. I don't even like that ride, or didn't like Splash Mountain. I thought it went too fast. I wanted to see more of, the scenes, the animatronics, it all, and then I'm just not a thrill ride person, but It is special.
I think that it's going to be so much better.
Do you?
And that's coming from someone that loves Splash Mountain. I think that this is going to be incredible. I think it's going to look beautiful inside. I think that the colors, the storytelling, I have really high expectations for this attraction. So I'm hoping that I'm not disappointed. I don't think that I will be, because going back to what you were saying, I recently rewatched the We Call It Imagineering series on YouTube with Josh Tomorrow, going over the animatronics and looking at Louis. I thought that was so cool because I had assumed that they were just going to do what they've always done and take the old animatronics, put a new costume on them, and have that be the experience. And I'm sure there's going to be some of that, but they really went above and beyond with Louis. He looks so insane, like without the gear on and just looking at all of the metal. And it's hard to believe that it's metal because it's flowing so easily like water. Like it looks incredible. So I am super, super excited for that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, he looks so impressive, like, so fluid, so lifelike. I kind of like when they redress animatronics, and some of the sentiments I've heard is that there are not gonna be as many animatronics in the ride as they had kinda hyped up at the beginning, um, because I know that some of those animatronics are being moved, for other projects, or that's what I've heard at least, reported or speculated. But I think there's something special about knowing that those animatronics used to be something else, something that I'll get into a
Yeah,
little bit later when we start talking about Pixarfest, and I have some fun Pixar things to talk about. But one of maybe like our generation, legendary, is the transformation of Monsters Inc. from Superstar Limo and how they transformed those
right.
animatronics, which is very fun for me, and then knowing that Splash Mountain had all the so many of the animatronics from America Sings, I think it's really would be
Yeah.
really special if they were able to keep some of those in the ride, even if they didn't look like their original characters. I think that would make sense if they didn't look like those characters that they were before, but knowing that those are like some long-standing historical-ish, animatronics, I think would be cool, but definitely the new ones that they've created are impressive.
I totally agree. I love kind of that like recycling idea. Let's use this and build from it, and these parts are still good, and you would never be able to tell what that animatronic was from America Sings or whatever. Um, and the fact that they are able to do that with so many is it is really cool. I do have a question that I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about Tiana's Bayou Adventure being in Frontierland for Walt Disney World?
That's hard because, I mean, I've only really been there I guess I've been there twice, but really, I only can remember being there with you a couple years ago, and so thinking about that because the theming in that area is so well blended, I really enjoy it, like, I think Disneyland's is as well, but just that area is very Southwest, with Thunder Mountain being right there. I'm not sure. From what I've seen, it looks good. It's fine, you know? I don't know. I guess it's something that we'll all have to feel out and experience and see if it, like, flows well. But as someone that's, like, not there very often, I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" But it does not flow as well as it does in California. Like, I think if they would've just redone Disneyland Splash Mountain to be Tiana's Bayou Adventure, probably would have made the most sense with theming. I think it's cool that they were able to do it at both parks, like, clearly they feel like it's fine.
Well, I've heard some speculation that they're going to try to put New Orleans Square in
Mm,
Walt Disney World. I mean, if they were to do that, then it would I mean, that would totally change the vibe of that area because I guess they would do it at Liberty Square. I don't know where else like they would be able to put, I don't know, in New Orleans, but and that's where I've heard people talk about them like potentially doing it there.
mhm,
But I think that the theming couldn't be better at California because it right in between New Orleans and Galaxy's Edge, right? That critter country is right there in the middle, and I think that it's going to take in that whole theming and scenery and really blend New Orleans and critter country together, like, in a way that we haven't seen before.
mhm,
And I think that I really, that's one of the reasons why I love Disneyland so much is because you are able to go so seamlessly from land to land without it feeling like a very dramatic shift. And I feel like the Haunted Mansion to Splash Mountain is kind of a stronger
mm,
shift than Haunted Mansion to something in the Bayou.
mhm.
I don't know if that makes any sense, but
No, I think that makes
that's my
so
thoughts
much
on it.
sense. I think that makes I think that makes so much sense, and I think that's, like, a really good argument of why one theming is a little bit more superior maybe to the other, but I don't wanna, like, criticize something that I can't actually, like, speak to, you know? That would be interesting to see how they could incorporate more of New Orleans into that area, maybe try to smooth out those transitions a little bit more, but I'm curious because it seems like they're doing a lot of changes in that area in Disney World with them. I mean, I don't know how much they're changing it aesthetically as of right now other than the ride itself, but with them redoing, Country Bear show, I know that the bears are coming back, but with a
Mhm.
new show, with new music. It'll be interesting to see if they, like, try to work that in there or what's done. I'm curious.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that area develops. And who knows, they might need to do a little expansion in their area just like Disneyland is going to be doing a little expansion over here on the West Coast
Oh
with
my gosh.
Disneyland Forward.
Oh my gosh.
So I know that there's been a lot of talk in the media about Disneyland Forward, and there's been some talk about Avatar as well. So Bob Iger announced during a media event that Anaheim has officially approved their proposed expansion, stating we haven't been specific as to what's going to be in it except for Avatar, and that's according to KTLA. So I think that really shocked a lot of people because they weren't anticipating Avatar being a part of Disneyland Forward specifically because of the understanding on how long it's going to take to create something like another land, especially in California where it takes years to just get things passed, and we don't have the benefit of Reedy Creek where we can create things on our own
Mhm.
and
Like, the
use
land's not.
use our own space
Mhm. Mhm.
to do whatever we want. Like even with our own space that's owned by Disney, they still have to get everything approved through the city, and things just take it takes forever to get things done in California. It seems like, and so I think that surprised a lot of people. And as I continued to read this article from KTLA, it was saying that there's still some speculation that Avatar might take over Hollywoodland in DCA, which that had been what people were talking about before. So it's just interesting that he would specifically be speaking about Disneyland Forward and then be like, we haven't told you guys what we're going to do with it, but we are going to do Avatar in it.
Yeah. I know that a lot of the argument behind just because you mentioned the Hollywood backlot. People are like, "Oh, there's a monorail problem." You know, you know me, I'm not a huge Avatar fan. I think Flight of Passage was awesome, and I would have kind of been okay with only that. Which, like, no, I don't think that they need to duplicate that. I don't think that they need to bring that to California. Like, if they're doing it, I'm glad that they're it sounds like at least if they're putting it in Disney Forward, then they're designating a lot of time and, like, clearly a lot of resources to it if they're already counting on that being, like, such a future project. I think just so many people are asking why. Why now? Why that? And also, why would you talk about it before Disneyland Forward was official?
Yeah.
Like, why throw it out there so early? I don't think anyone needed at that time. I know that there is a lot of pressure, especially, like, within the amusement park industry. I think people are calling them, like, the amusement park wars right now because of the giant moves that Universal is making in their theme parks.
Yeah.
Yeah, giant moves, especially in Orlando, but the fact that the fact that in even in California with only Universal having 1 park, having that park be, most of that, I feel like the big attraction there is the fact that it is a working movie studio, in that the
Mhm.
attractions of it all, they definitely seem to come second. They've always seemed to be made to be replaceable, to be reskinned, essentially. Um,
Yeah.
we've definitely seen a lot of growth in that amusement park, but the them putting in the Fast and the Furious coaster feels so permanent and is affecting so much of that park, that I think people are betting on growth. And, yeah, but I mean, in Florida, they're really doing it, and I know that Disney's trying to compete with that, where they don't have maybe the novelty of their IPs to really invest that much time and, like, growth into, because a lot of the things that we're seeing be proposed are feel, I guess, like, hypothetical to people, like a Toy Story Land, or, like, we know that we're not getting the things that, Japan is getting because it's a different,
Sure.
they're running by different rules than we are here, which is
Yeah.
okay. It's amazing to see that happen, but it's interesting to see how this whole stuff with, Avatar has unfolded, but I'm curious to see where it's gonna go from here, for sure.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Avatar still came before Disneyland Forward,
Mhm,
but I hope that they do wait, and I hope that they do give it the land that they deserve, because I feel like you can do that area, whether you love it or not, it's beautiful.
mhm, mhm.
And I feel like for there's no way putting it in the Hollywood backlot would do it justice. There's just not enough space. Um, it would just it would be a disservice, I feel like, to put
Mhm.
it there. I can't imagine them being able to do it in a nice way. Even with the monorail, like I know people have made that argument, and I've heard that, and that just kind of seems ridiculous to me. There's a million ways that you can go around that. You can put a tunnel like around
Mhm.
it so you don't even see it. I mean, there's I have heard that argument, and it just seems a little bit silly to me because I just feel like there's a lot of ways that you could go around it without people even realizing that the monorail is passing through.
Yeah. I think that maybe the size of that area has also been, a reason that people have pause about that being an option. Also, the transition of it all, I think, would be difficult. I know we don't have the same
Yeah.
space that Animal Kingdom does to do those, as we're talking about transitions in our last little portion there. But
Yeah.
same thing, like, going from Hollywood Boulevard, is that what that area is supposed to be?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, into Avatar would be strange, but we're gonna be
And then
talking
into Marvel Land.
yeah, in the opposite area like, at least Marvel, like, that doesn't feel as strange because it feels still very, like, industrial or, like, urban, whereas, like, it kind of jives with the city feel in some way. Whereas
Yeah.
a different a different planet? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like, how they did Batuu was impressive. They're not gonna be able to do anything like that in that small area.
No.
Something like city-esque, like a Zootopia, like, that would be cool. Even though or, I mean, honestly, monsters. Like, I love Monsters, Inc. so much. They have that whole new, like, Monsters at Work show. Like, that's clearly an IP that they're still investing in, and that's something that Bob
Yeah.
Iger has said about Disney Forward, essentially that it'll all be IP based, which everyone can have their own feelings and thoughts about that for sure, and, like, what that means potentially, but, yeah, I don't think that that's the place for it, for sure. Even if it was a small area, I don't think that even designating a small area in that area is gonna be that's not it.
Yeah. I totally agree.
I think people were betting on it because it was called like a quote unquote experience before and not anything more specific, but I think that's because they didn't know, right?
Yes, I think that is a big theme with Disney. Fortunately and unfortunately, like, I think that we find out things are happening when they decide that it's going to be that way.
Sure, sure.
Like, it, I don't think that I don't think that they know what they're doing with Avatar yet.
Mm,
I don't think that it's fully planned out, or I think that they probably have 5 different ideas, plan A, B, C, D, E, as to what they want to do, but I don't even think they know
mhm,
what they're doing. And I think that kind of happens a lot. And you don't really see that with Universal.
mm-mm,
When they make an announcement that something's coming, you immediately see progress being built on it. And then in the next, you know, couple of years, and I mean couple, as really in 2 or 3 years, that project that they announced, it's here.
mhm,
Or if it's not here, you can see it. Like the Fast and Furious, we can see them working on it. Mario World, Mario Nintendo Land, they announced it, they built it. That is something that they really have on the Disney company, because even Universal in California has been able to build things a lot
mhm,
faster uh, than Disneyland has.
mhm.
So that is definitely a reoccurring theme with the company. I don't think that I think that they just kind of figure it out as they go, and that's when we find out.
I hope Disney is able to really flex their creative muscles with their opportunity at this time. It can be
Yeah.
IP paste, like, I know that that's it sounds like I'm saying IP paste. IP based. It can be, of course. That's clearly what is giving them money. That's clearly where they're seeing their profits. Okay. But, get creative with it. Don't give me straight up scenes from the movie. That's why I'm excited about Tiana's because it's not scenes from that movie. It is those
Its
characters.
own story.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Those characters, that universe, this collection of ideas put into something new, all combined. And I hope that's what they're able to bring to it. I don't want the same Avatar experience that we have in Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, I love Animal Kingdom. Avatar is just one part of it. That's fine. It's great. It's beautiful. It's really awesome. I hope they're able to take all that and push out some new ideas. We've got another movie out since then. I think there's another one that's supposed to be coming. You all are part of the same company. Take all those ideas, sweep it into something cool. We'll be here when it's done.
Yes. Oh, Oh, Pixarfest?
Pixarfest.
Yes. So, if you don't know, from April 26th to August 4th, guests at the Disneyland Resort can celebrate Pixar with characters, food inspired by the movies, and plenty of fun. One thing I wanted to mention about this is that I'm surprised at how long it's going on for.
That was the thing that shocked me. I was like, "Okay, maybe I'll have, like, a month and a half to get there," like, I don't know. I thought they were just using it to fill in, like, until the summer. I shouldn't say, like, they're using it to fill it in until summer, but, between
No, that's what I thought as well.
yeah, like, between season of like, after, it was, like, Food and Wine, then it was Season of the Force. Pixar Fest started during Season of the Force, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, two events going on at the same time, and it runs, like, all the way through summer pretty much.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Pixar Fest until it's like almost Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. I was super surprised about it. When I had gone to Pixar Fest in the past, years and years and years ago, I think it was the same year that they opened Pixar Pier. It was during
Hmm.
spring break, which was really fun, definitely different than they're doing it now, but really fun. I can't wait to go now.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that it's going on for so long, especially because we don't get as many festivals over here as they do on the East Coast. And just like we had mentioned earlier, I think it's really cool that they're incorporating both parks
Mhm.
and not just California Adventure.
I love that. I know. Because on the Disneyland side, what are they doing special other than because they're doing food? Is there any events going
Right.
on that side? Are they doing any special characters that you know of? I know that they're doing the parade on the DCA side. Have you seen how Disneyland is incorporating all that?
The only thing that they are doing is they have a lot of decorations on
Mhm.
Main
Oh,
Street
really?
that I am personally not a fan of.
Oh.
I it's very colorful, very in your face,
Mhm.
very bright, and it's very Pixar, but I don't like it. I don't think it belongs on Main Street, and
Like photo ops
I
or
think there is like a big photo op, but there's also like down Main Street, there's
Mm.
decor that's really bright and colorful, and I'm not a big fan of it. But aside from that bit of decor, they are having like a Disney Junior dance party type thing at the Royal Theater
Mm. Oh.
near Toontown.
Gotcha. Okay. So all the way out where they were doing like the Lion King
The
show,
Lion King.
like that
Yes.
big
Mhm.
amphitheater. So Disney Junior Dance Party, but that's not, are they Pixar characters? Okay.
Yeah.
So not, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's really like they took out the first few rows
Mhm.
that are closest to the stage, like for kids to dance
That's okay.
and
That,
play.
that's
Yeah,
kind of cute.
cute.
But I'm surprised that they
It's cute.
they do that pretty often in front of like where Galaxy Grill is. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, between Galaxy Grill and the
Oh, Galactic
oh,
Girl?
I'm sorry. Yeah, between Galactic Grill and, like, the what do they call it? Is that the Tomorrowland
Like
Terrace?
Autopia?
Okay.
No, but I know the area that you're
Mhm,
talking
just
about.
like that stage. Mhm.
Yes, yes, where they have like the stormtroopers, or at least they used to. I haven't seen them there in a
Yeah,
while.
they used to do, like, a Jedi show there or something. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so not there, but that other stage, and then the little snack shack that they have over there, the Troubadour
Mhm.
Tavern, they have a lot of food offerings there.
Mm.
And they have been rotating a lot of food offerings there as of recently. I would say this year they've rotated a lot, and I have never eaten there. So it's definitely on my to do. I want to check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much it for what's going on in Disneyland.
I know that you said that you were interested in eating at the Troubadour Tavern. Was there a specific food item that caught your eye, at least during Pixar Fest?
No, not during Pixarfest, but I want to say back in February or March, they had like the
Mhm.
movie Soul inspired food,
Oh,
and there was like this like fried chicken dish that I can't remember exactly what it was, but it
that's
it
cool.
sounded
I know that they
delicious.
were doing, shows out in that area for like, at that stage, I should say, for, like, Black History Month, like, that certainly could have led into March, but
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, they might have had some soul-inspired stuff there during that time.
yeah.
Love
Mhm.
that. That sounds delicious. I
Yeah.
wanna look more at what else. I wanna see all of what's offered in Disneyland because now I'm curious. Because 'cause I've been spending so much of my time checking out the fact that they have festival booths.
Yeah, that is something that started recently, I
Yeah,
think
I
August
know it
10th.
started later than the rest of the festival, which was interesting, but I mean, hey,
Mhm.
I'll take it.
Like what we can get. I actually, as far as I know, you have a lot of drinks
Mhm.
that you were going to talk about. As far as food wise, there was like nothing on the Disneyland side that I looked at that was like appealing to me.
Interesting. Oh my gosh, nothing at all?
No. And really, there was only like one thing on the California Adventure side, food wise, that I was really like, oh, I have to try this. There's some other things that I saw where, like, I don't, if someone else wanted to get it, I would try it.
Mhm.
But I noticed, and even with their beverages, there's a lot of dishes with pineapple,
Oh.
and
What?
I am
Interesting.
allergic. So
I'm like, Pixar. Is there some Pixar alignment with pineapples? Who's funding
I don't
these?
know. I don't know if you noticed that at all, but there's a ton of dishes and beverages with pineapple. So I think that because there was a lot of things where I was like, ooh, 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 oh, there's pineapple.
Mhm. Well, I know the other day when we were chatting briefly about Pixarfest, and I was like, "All I want is this lava Dole Whip," and you're like, "Mhm." Like, I know it's not for you, but it's so cute.
So cute.
But yeah, there weren't necessarily any really food items that caught my eye very quickly. I know we talked about the Red Rose Tavern, they have something called a Fergus Fizz. So it's inspired by Brave. That was the cranberry raspberry mix in the
Oh,
spray. Yeah, with butterscotch topper and granola crumble. I
and granola
a
crumble.
granola crumble on top of the butterscotch. From the picture, it doesn't look like it's a lot, but what are we doing?
What? Is this a snack or is this a drink?
It's a drink, but
No, I know,
no,
but it's
yeah.
supposed.
No, yeah, it's a drink.
I'm just like, what are we doing?
I love butterscotch. So, I love the idea of the butterscotch topper. Even give me a granola crumble. I think that's a choice, but that's fine. Also, separately, cranberry raspberry mix and Sprite, okay. Like,
Yeah, throw a little vodka in there.
mhm, like, give me a flavored little spray, okay, with, some alk would be fine, but separately, I'm like, I'm so curious, and I'd love to know who who this is for. Because I see the inspiration, I see the braveness behind it because it's supposed to be, like, red, they're all a bunch of redheaded Scots, like I love I love the energy, hate the execution. On paper.
Yeah,
On paper,
got it.
this is all on paper. I haven't had it. I kind of want it to know. But also, just give me like butterscotch topper on coffee or give me like a white mocha with raspberry and cranberry syrup with the butterscotch topper, something like that?
That sounds like it'd be good. Yeah.
Like, that just makes more sense in my head, like, why is it s I mean, maybe because I don't know. Why Sprite?
Looking at this menu, it made me feel like they were really trying to be out there.
Yeah, yeah, like, it's definitely fun. It's a bunch of fun. It's a bunch of potatoes.
It's a lot of potatoes, yeah,
I
which I'm never upset about. but I don't. There's like a lot of baked potato dishes. I
Yeah.
don't typically gravitate towards baked potato, but I'm not also not mad about it.
I love a hot dog, you know me, love a hot dog. I'm not gonna eat an entire potato instead of a bun. Part of the appeal of eating a hot dog is
Yeah,
having a bun. If I want a potato, I'll eat a potato. I like that it's
yeah,
different, but I wish it would be so different that instead it was like a potato skin bun and then a hot dog.
sure.
So it's, like,
Yeah,
carved out and then whatever, make something else with mashed potatoes because you have a bunch of potato innards.
they have a dish like that in Disney World too right now,
Oh, really?
and where it's like the potato is the hot dog
Mhm,
bun. And I had to. I was watching a video on it, and I had to rewatch it, and I was like, "Is that a whole
mhm,
potato?" And it
mhm.
was. It's a whole potato, and then there's a hot dog, and that's just haven't tried it. Maybe it's really good. Seems like it would be too much.
It kinda makes me feel like I'm missing am I missing a reference? Like, are potatoes somewhere else in, like, Disney media? Are there potatoes? Like, I know that there's in, like, some of the Mickey cartoons, like, I think potatoes are referenced, but
I know there's a Potato Land somewhere
yeah,
in one
Goofy.
of the Mickey tunes.
Mhm. Maybe I'm assuming it's goofy because it's silly, but I just like there's like a Coco inspired potato situation and like a Toy Story inspired potato situation. That's why I'm like there's nothing that I know Pixar related that has to do with potatoes.
Yeah, I is. Are there a lot of potatoes in Luca? That's the only like Pixar movie that I haven't really
I
watched.
haven't seen it either, so I can't tell you, but I'm assuming not.
Okay.
I've been to Italy. I didn't eat a lot of potatoes. I don't think I ate any.
I'm
Yeah.
Italian, and I haven't either. I mean, I do eat a lot of potatoes, but no, that's not a staple of my
Mm-mm.
culture. But I noticed that they were like some of the dishes were like it mentioned being Luca inspired, and they had potatoes, and I was just like, why? Maybe there are potatoes in the movie. I don't know.
I
I haven't really
We're
watched
gonna have
it.
to do that, what was it called? Like, the team cast of watching the movie together like we did we did that for
Yeah,
what is it, Muppets Haunted Mansion?
the
That was fun. Oh,
Muppets.
and we did it for Rescue
Yes.
Rangers. That
Yes,
was
we
fun.
did. That was really fun. Yes. All right. So that will be our next one that we watch together.
Yeah. I'm accumulating Pixar movies to catch up with at this point because I'm afraid of being sad after Onward. Onward ruined me. I wanna rewatch it so bad, but I
I
did
can't.
have a breakdown.
Understandably so.
It's so good, and it's so hard on my heart. To wrap up my fixation apparently on butterscotch topper, which is what Disney is calling their at Dutch Bros, I think they call it soft top, at Starbucks, they call it cold foam,
Wholesome.
at Troubadour Tavern. They have Adventures Out There cold brew, which is dark chocolate cold brew with butterscotch topper, wafer cookie, and this confetti quins. And I don't know what that means, but I'm thinking sprinkles. I want
That
it.
sounds like it
I
could be
want it
good.
right now. Yeah. So
That
that
sounds like it
one,
could be good.
there we go.
I know there was one food item that I was excited to try, the chili verde chicken flautas at Pacific Garden Grill. That sounds really good to me. But I also have just really enjoyed everything that I've gotten recently from Pacific Garden Grill. Like those
Yeah. That's why I
tacos,
was like, wait, isn't that in a DCA? But yeah, no, absolutely. Shrimp taco that we got during Food and Wine,
shrimp tacos.
those were
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, to die for him. But that was like the only food item that I was like, oh, that sounds really good. Everything else, I was like, absolutely not. It sounds so weird, or I'm not sure because it sounds so weird. Like it could be good, but I'm not like,
Mhm.
oh, I have to have that.
I'm curious about it's called a Coal Nut Puffs. It's at oh, Jack Jack Cookie Num Num. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's at Lamplight Lounge. So it's a
Ooh,
pastry, but they're filled with blue cloud mousse and inspired by elementals. So they're the things that look like they're red, but they have the crackled, like, black outside, so they look really interesting. Yeah,
I
I'm
should
just
see a picture of those. Yeah.
curious, I think. You
Yeah,
mentioned,
where we want.
the Paradise Garden Grill is where the chicken verde or chili verde chicken flautas, yes, because 'cause they're calling it Recuérdame Me at Paradise Garden Grill, and honestly, this menu
Yes.
looks really delicious.
That is the menu that
Gosh.
I'm the most excited about.
Honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, when Disney does Mexican-inspired food, I'm really there for it. I'm
They
really
do a
there
good
for
job.
it. Who
They do a good job. From these two white girls' perspective that have grown up in California and have eaten our beyond our fair share of Mexican
Mhm.
food from northern and
It's
southern
pretty good.
California.
It does it.
I like Disneyland
Mhm.
Mexican
It's
inspired
not
food.
always perfect, but man, do they really go for it at least, incorporating all those flavors and dishes and, like, different elements. I'm seeing that they have street style watermelon. So, lime juice, chili lime seasoning, and chamoy. Like,
Yes,
does that not sound so good?
I'm all over
That
it.
sounds so good. Also,
I'm all over that.
just to put it out there, I know we're talking about all this food that's offered, but just because we didn't say it in the first one, and it seems like it's not a commonly thing known, you can bring in your own food to the park. Yeah, you're never limited by
This is
what they
true.
offer. It can be really expensive and really pricey depending on how big of a group you're with. If you're paying for your entire family, some people have really big families. Like, that's really intense buying all these snacks, all this food. Certainly, you could bring in your own street style watermelon if that's available to you. Like,
Yes,
I could certainly
yes.
go to the store, buy a package of already cut up watermelon. I I often carry a little thing of tahini with me. Just stick it in
Me
your
too.
bag. You can certainly bring that yourself. But the fact that they're offering at the park, I appreciate that. That sounds fun. Sometimes you want a sweet little snack, little snacky while you're there.
Yes, and then like watermelon
Mhm.
on a hot
Mhm.
a hot day in a theme park
Mhm.
sounds like it would
Like, could I
hit
bring
the
in
spot.
my own caramel apples to Disneyland? Probably. But I really like their little sliced well, they got their little sliced up
Who
one with the
wants to
little
do
thing on the side.
that?
I like that. I just wanna swoop one and go stand in a line
Me
for a little
too.
bit. Talking about all this food, the food seems definitely fun, maybe a little out there and maybe not maybe not something you'd reach for all the time. And maybe you're unimpressed, maybe you want more. But something that I did find fun was looking up all their different drink offerings because of course maybe those fun Disney snacks are a little too out there, but getting yourself a good little beverage on a hot day, maybe a long day, maybe a stressful day. Maybe you're just there to have fun. There are definitely some good ones out there, and I had really a lot of fun looking up what was offered at each of the booths in the Pixarfest marketplace. So these are just a few that really caught my eye right off the bat. So at Hanger Management, they have a. Do you already know what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yes, I saw that one.
Okay,
Uh,
I'm
I
sure you
think
are.
so. I think I'm thinking of
They
the
have the
right one.
mood stabilizer mule, and me, myself, I'm not typically a fan of mules. I'm not a big fan of ginger, so not a big fan of ginger beer typically, but it is something that's growing on me, especially when it's done well.
Mhm.
So in the mood stabilizer mule, they have bourbon, watermelon liqueur, candied orange and watermelon syrup, orange and lime juice, ginger beer, and then it's served with watermelon candies. And no, really, I
I'm all over
definitely
it.
I love a good bourbon cocktail, and these are things that you don't typically see maybe mixed with bourbon. Usually you have bourbon a little bit more straight up. Each of these elements also don't sound too sweet. They each sound like they're gonna add a little bit of a dynamic element to the beverage itself. So, like, the watermelon liqueur is gonna add that little bit of extra booziness and is gonna be complemented flavor-wise with the watermelon syrup, but then you have that candied orange, which is gonna add to the sweetness, kind of acting as like a triple sec kind of element, but then it's added with, like, the orange and the lime juice, you'll have that tartness, so even that out. The ginger beer will add some spice and probably an element of lightness as well, and then I can just only imagine snacking on those little watermelon candies as you continue on. I want it.
It sounds so good. I
Um,
want that so bad.
so, okay, moving on, Gusto's to go. So we got a little ratatouille representation in California. Just a little, just a
Yeah,
little sprinkle of
yes,
ratatouille.
a little,
Little rem.
a little
Um,
rim,
both of their cocktails sounded good,
a little
but
rim.
the French daiquiri is really what caught my eye. So it has rum, a French wine aperitif, pear nectar, cherry plum syrup, and lime juice, and then it's served with a bruleed apple chip. I also might want to double check that because I thought it was a pear chip, but maybe
Ooh,
I don't know. I could be wrong. But either way, this sounds good. This sounds like something I certainly haven't had before. I've had plenty of daiquiris, but not when flavored in this way. Typically, a more traditional straight daiquiri or like a strawberry daiquiri. I've had that as well. But this sounds great. This sounds like something you're going to be able to chill with. Definitely something that's probably on the sweeter side, especially with that rum, but something that you're going to be able to enjoy and maybe just, stick with the light stuff if this is what you're going with, 'cause it probably will be a little sweet, but I haven't had any of these, so this is my this is my to-do list that I'm just sharing. And then
I love
Elemental
it.
Table, they have an exothermic margarita, which is tequila, ancho chili liqueur, passion fruit nectar, lime and grapefruit juices, agave nectar, and then it's served with a rock candy. As for margaritas, I am definitely a traditional to give me a little spice with that traditional. This has some fun elements that I think make it a little bit more
Mhm,
exciting than just like your run of the mill margarita. So of course you have your tequila, but then that ancho chili
mhm,
liqueur, I'm very curious about. I'm like, oh, do we got some spice in here? Is it just some chili flavor? I'd love to. I can't wait to see what we got with that. But I think that'd go very, very well with the passion fruit and then the lime, of course. But what surprised me in this was the grapefruit itself. So that's a
mm,
direction to take. So I'm curious how that works with it all, but I'm sure it's good. Maybe add some extra bitterness that was needed after the passion fruit nectar and the agave. But then serving it with a rock candy, also
mm.
a choice. I'm not a fan of rock candy, but I mean, it must be good because the rest of it sounds good.
And I feel like although the rock
Mhm.
candy, I mean, it's just straight up sugar, but it does
Mhm.
look very pretty.
Hey, we're not all about looks here, but sometimes it is a factor. So
Cute
hopefully
little
hopefully you
stir
need that added sugar
drink.
maybe. I mean, maybe it's just the if you need that little added sugar, then it's offered to you. It's a great option. Do it yourself. And then last, I
I love
have
it.
the Spark, which they have a variety of beer offerings, which I am a big fan of, especially when they're interesting.
I know you are excited about that.
So I've
Yes,
never had
I'm
any of these
excited to hear
beers,
about
but I
it.
am familiar with a few of the breweries, and then just the flavors themselves sound interesting. They sound worth trying for sure. So the flight consists of Bottle Logic. They have a honeydew lime hard seltzer, which I know like honeydew as a flavor. That's the melon that we leave on our plate, but honeydew is a very prominent flavor in some other cultures that they really incorporate in them, their desserts more, their drink. So I'm hoping that this honeydew lime hard seltzer has that melon flavor that I hope for in a really good honeydew. But I guess we'll have to see. You do? Okay, I'm glad to
I
hear that because I feel like
love
it's I
honeydew.
feel like it's underrated,
It absolutely is. I prefer honeydew over traditional melon.
like a cantaloupe.
And mhm.
Mhm, mhm.
And I love any type of honeydew milk tea. If it's a slush,
Mhm.
if it's like boba, if honeydew is on the menu, I'm choosing that every time. I think it's delicious. So that seltzer, I didn't see that one, and now I'm super excited to try that because I freaking love honeydew. That sounds delicious.
No, I'm excited about it for sure. I think it's gonna be good. And then we have Garage Brewing, their prickly pear Hefeweizen. I love Garage Brewing, one of my favorite breweries. They're definitely a smaller brewery, or at least it seems like it where I'm located, because often I only can get their beer in Disneyland, or there's a local bar to me that they also often carry kind of their main staples. So they'll often have they have an IPA, they often will carry that, or once in a while, which used to be my favorite beer at the Disney park, is the marshmallow milk stout that they had at Pim's in Avengers Campus. And they'd have this at the bar that's near me as well. But they have this prickly pear Hefeweizen as part of Pixarfest, which sounds like it's going to be good. Are you familiar with prickly pear?
I feel like I've had things that are flavored prickly pear before.
No, definitely. I'm sure you have. It's a cactus fruit. Um, I think it's delicious.
Oh, it's not pear.
No, no, it's not like a pear that you, like, pick off a tree. It's a cactus fruit, so it's like what you see growing, those little, like, sprouts of fruits
No
that are off to the
way.
side. Yeah, and they talk about it in the Jungle Book and stuff. Yeah, they're literally prickly, like, you can't, like, pick them with your hands. You have to, like, use something else to handle them, or yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's super. Yeah, no, I never realized that.
Yeah, so the flavor's unique for sure. I love the flavor myself. I feel like it's kind of I don't wanna compare it to something because it's certainly its own thing, but love it. Hefeweizen,
Does it taste like pear at all?
mm, not really. It's definitely its own thing. Tastes like a fruit, but
Okay,
it's yeah, it's just its own flavor. It's like me trying to explain honeydew to you. Like, I don't know how to explain that
got it.
flavor itself.
Sure,
It's good. I enjoy it. I feel like if you try it, you're like, "Oh, okay, got it. I know that flavor."
probably.
Hefeweizens, though, not my style of beer. Will I try it? 100%. They're just a little bit too weedy for my taste personally, but I love Garage Brewing. I think they do a really good job. And then Ballast Point, they have their Grunion Pale Ale. I think that's just kind of like maybe the anchoring crowd pleaser of this flight. Nothing really too exciting about that. Definitely their tried and true good pale ale, but okay, and it's a day later because our system totally blocked us out, and then we had to make some adjustments, but hey, we're back here to
We are
continue.
back, and hopefully my audio sounds a little bit better now than it did before.
Oh yeah, just, you know, we're we're just getting better
We're getting
mid-episode.
better. We're going through some growing pains and we're figuring it out.
Mhm. But just so to pick right up from, us talking about Pixarfest, I wanted to talk a little bit about the history of Pixar and, how they became associated with Disney in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not super typical for there to be 2 different studios working together to be creating something, so Disney and Pixar are definitely special in that way. But just to back up to the very beginning, because 'cause they've changed a lot over the years. They were founded by Edmund Catmull and Alvy Ray Smith, who were then hired by George Lucas to be a part of his animation studio. They created the Pixar computer from there. George Lucas also is the one who hired John Lasseter. But okay, so John Lasseter was working with Disney as a creative, and that's when the Brave Little Toaster, he brought that project to them and then was fired because they didn't like it enough. And then he was hired by George Lucas to be a part of his animation studio, but it wasn't seen as profitable. So that's when Steve Jobs came in and bought it from them.
So, and his animation studio is just Lucasfilms?
Yeah, it was like a part of Lucasfilms, like, it wasn't because he wasn't making animated movies necessarily, but using animation, to create different elements in the movies
Mhm.
that he was creating. So that's when like the Pixar image computer was made to make like high resolution images like into 3D images, and like those were the things that were shown in the movies. So instead of like making an entire animated film feature like we would see later, this was like an element of his existing movie studio. But it wasn't seen as profitable. So that's when Steve Jobs came in and saw the technology being used and decided to shift it all into the movie making studio that we know it to be now. And many of those early figures, Edmund Catmull, Alvy Ray Smith, and John Lasseter, all kind of came with that company.
Mhm.
Shy,
Yeah.
do you know what the first computer animated film nominated for an Academy Award was?
I don't.
So it was Luxo Jr.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Really? I've never even
yeah.
seen it.
So a short film, it's on Disney Plus if you want to see it,
Okay.
but it was groundbreaking for the time because it was the first computer animated film. I really stumble over those.
Got it.
Film to be nominated for an Academy
Okay.
Award.
And it won.
I think so.
Okay.
I wrote nominated, but I think they won.
Okay, cool.
If I'm wrong, then we learned something then as well.
And
But it
someone
was
can let us know.
there's some really good documentaries out there about like Pixar as a whole. So the answer is definitely out there. If anything, it was the first to be nominated. And then it wasn't until 2006 where, because Disney and Pixar had a relationship kind of on and off throughout this whole process. But at one point, ties were cut. I think that was mostly during Michael Eisner's era. It was kind of tumultuous. What his goals were for the movie studios were different than maybe what Pixar was their goals were. But that was also a big part of like the Disney Renaissance, so it didn't seem like maybe they were driving in the same way. Their goals weren't aligning. When we saw Bob Iger come in is really when you see that relationship with Pixar rekindled.
I
Um
see.
yeah, and that's kind of when all the forces were joined back together and combined for good, because in 2006, that's when Disney bought Pixar, and but they're still two independent studios that work in sync with one another. They're
Got it.
yeah, because it's a very, profitable relationship for Disney to have. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, and it's works out for Pixar as well. Like clearly it's something that they see as valuable for both sides. But Pixar as a studio definitely continues to grow and improve as they continue with the movies that they're making and the animation that they conduct. And I think we can definitely see that through the evolution of their movies. You see like the whole transformation of their capabilities as an animation studio, kind of just the sequence that I was able to kind of map out for myself. So you see, Sully's fur in Monsters Inc. And then you have Finding Nemo that comes out and they're doing all the water effects for that. And then I remember when Brave came out, a big talk was about her hair and how long it took to do each of those, very intricate spirals that she has. All of her hair moves very naturally. And then I was trying to think of a more recent example too, where we've really seen the transformation. But if you see like the credits in The Good Dinosaur, it looks,
Mhm.
you know what I'm talking about? Like it looks like full real scenes. Like that you could tell me that's a picture and I'll probably believe you unless I'm really sitting there scrutinizing it.
Mhm.
But I was also thinking about how the characters look in Elemental. They're like so free moving and dynamic in a very, very believable way.
I haven't seen Elemental yet.
Me either, but I've seen clips of it. I'm scared to watch it because I heard it's sad.
Yeah, but I heard it was really good.
I heard it was good. Excuse
I
me.
heard it was really, really good. That can be another one that we group watch. Add it to the group watch list.
Yeah, I might need some emotional support for that.
That can be
So
provided.
thank you. Okay. So I have a few little quiz sections just for funsies. I'm a trivia nerd for all who don't know, and I'm never on the questioning end. I don't know a better way I'm never the quizzer. I'm always the quizzee because I want to be a show off. So just like this is kind of just throw it out there. I'm curious of what you think. I thought that these were interesting, and then I have some a little bit more fun ones as we progress through. Does that sound okay?
Absolutely, let's do it. I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm not very good at trivia, so we shall see.
No, these are just like top 5 Pixar movies per earning, and then top 5 their ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. I would never have guessed these lists, but that's why I thought they were fun. I mean, I certainly would never get these right. I just thought it was interesting, and I'm curious to see how you react to it. Because I think it's interesting to see, because Pixar, they weren't so into the idea of doing sequels. That's really something that Disney has put out there. And so I think it's interesting to see that these lists are full of sequels. So I think
Okay.
it's interesting to see how those things work out.
All right.
Okay, so with earnings, do you wanna work bottom to top or top to bottom?
Let's do bottom to top.
Okay, cool. I like that too. Do you wanna think about it for a second? Do you wanna kinda like make a list of what you think the 5 are? Do you wanna like go do you just wanna throw them out there?
Okay, so the like monetary wise,
Yeah.
the top
So
5
yeah.
Pixar films.
Like box office earnings. So I was gonna say these are newer, but I mean, they're very mid to recent. Let's say that. So there's no Bugs Life's not on here. Let's say that.
Okay.
'Cause those are, like that's older, you know? But
Okay. Can
mhm.
I let's just I'm just going to guess what I think is in the list
Okay,
and then we can go in order once I've figured out
perfect.
the list. Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
So, I know for sure Toy Story is in there, right?
Am I telling you yes or no?
Yeah, cuz that's the only way I'm going to be able to figure out
Okay.
top from
Toy
bottom
Story's not on
or bottom
okay.
from the top.
Toy Story not Toy Story 1. It's not on there.
Oh, not Toy Story 1.
No. I said it's not older. Toy Story is their first movie.
Yes, okay. So okay. Is there multiple Toy Stories?
Mhm,
Okay. Toy Story 3.
mhm.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm like, how many Toy Stories are there?
They're 4
Okay.
right now. There's a 5th coming out, but
So I'm going to say Toy Story 3 and 4.
oh, yeah. Okay, you're good.
Okay. So that takes 2 of the
Mhm,
5.
mhm.
Is Finding Nemo too old?
No, that's good. That's on there.
Okay. Finding Nemo. So now that's 3.
These are both after Finding Nemo, the last 2.
Okay. Encanto?
No, I don't think Encanto's Pixar.
It's not. Okay.
Typically, Pixar movies don't have music in them unless it's Coco.
Okay.
They're not like musicals. You know what I mean?
Okay. So then is Coco on the
No.
list? Oh man. I'm gonna guess, is it something that was released in theaters, not like Disney Plus?
I think so. At least one of them was in theaters. I'm pretty sure the other I think it would have had to be like a box office earner. I can't say the other one confidently, but I'm
Okay.
sure it
Good
was.
point. Good point. Monsters Inc. Is that too? No, no, that was. Is that after Nemo? I don't even
That's
know. Is that
before.
too old? Okay, so
Mhm.
not Monsters Inc. Shoot. Okay, I need a hint.
They're both sequels.
They're both sequels.
Mhm.
Oh. Okay, you're gonna have to tell me because I don't know.
Finding Dory and Incredibles 2.
What?
Yeah, I was surprised by this list. That's why I was like, "This" I wouldn't have been able to guess it, but I thought it was interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, do you wanna guess the list or do you want me to tell you?
Okay.
You guess
I'm
first.
gonna guess the order.
Okay.
So from bottom to top, so the least amount, I'm gonna say Finding Dory, then Incredibles 2,
Just do your
then
guesses, and then we'll talk
Finding
about it. Is that
Nemo,
okay?
and then Toy Story
Sure,
3
okay.
and Toy Story 4 being the most money.
Interesting. Okay. No. Okay, but I think I would have guessed the same as you. Okay. Incredibles 2 is number 1. This is the highest grossing Pixar movie.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
I was very surprised. I was like, "Okay, sure. What? Like, what?" Oh, maybe because the anticipation?
What?
That's the only thing that I can think of is that there was so much the first one, I love the first one. I love The Incredibles. The first one, so good, definitely left us on a cliffhanger. Everyone knew that. I think it makes sense that there'd be so much hype around the fact that we finally get to hear more about The Incredibles, but I mean, I don't know. I am surprised. I'm like, how is Toy Story 3 not number 1? Toy Story 4 is number 2. Toy Story 3 is number 3.
I knew that out of all of the Toy Stories that the 4th movie had made the most.
Really?
That's a piece of knowledge that I know was in the back of my brain. So that's why I thought that one was gonna be number 1 for sure.
It that super makes sense, and it makes sense why they're making a 5th one. If
Yeah.
your 4th one is the most profitable,
Yeah.
it makes me curious about, like I know it's not Disney, but it makes me curious about, like, Kung Fu Panda, because there's a bunch of those, aren't there?
Oh, yeah,
Like, they
with
must be.
DreamWorks, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. They must be super profitable. Also, DreamWorks hates Eisner, and it's really funny because the person I wish I would have written down his name. He's a very significant person in, like, the same sphere. The person that started DreamWorks, he, like, left DreamWorks when Eisner left Disney because he, like, refused to work with him. He was like, "No, I hate this guy. Bye."
Wow,
Lord Farquaad is, like, supposed to be modeled after Eisner.
that's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah. So, just, and this is all intertwingled, it's all industry stuff, right?
Yes.
Love it. Hilarious.
So I'm gonna guess that at least for Toy Story 3 and 4, I mean, I would say that they're so profitable because you have people our age
Mhm,
that want to go see it
mhm,
on top of kids. Like
mhm.
you have two generations that are like extremely excited to watch these films. So I guess it makes sense. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. And, like, I'm pretty sure Toy Story 4 is the only Toy Story I saw in theaters.
I
I
definitely saw the 3rd in theaters as well.
I don't even think I've sat through the entire 3rd movie, and I know
Oh,
people like
really?
it. Yeah, it was just one that I missed. I think I was in, like, middle school or something when it came out, and
Yeah,
I wasn't you knew me.
I
You
did
knew
know
me
you. I did.
you knew me enough, at least in middle school. I wasn't
Yes.
doing that.
No. Dark
But
times.
dark times, the dark ages, quite
The dark
literally.
ages.
I love Toy Story 4, though. I still want a Gabby Gabby pin. I love Gabby Gabby. I'm still on the hunt for that. If I have to wait for Japan, I will, but I'm on the hunt. Finding Dory is 4, Finding Nemo is 5.
Finding Dory made more than Finding Nemo.
Yeah, which I could see that,
I guess it being kind of the same thing.
yeah, beloved character, getting their own story. We all love the first one. I've never seen Finding Dory in its entirety, so I can't speak to it, but,
I remember there also being controversy around the movie, and I'm sure that enticed more people to go see it as well.
there was controversy?
Yeah, because there's a gay couple that's in the movie.
Uh, okay. I didn't know.
You didn't know that?
Gay
It was
fish?
like no,
Okay.
no,
There are
it's an
people?
adult. It's an yeah.
Oh, I guess there's people in the first one, like the dentist and
It's
Darla and stuff?
literally it's like less than 10 seconds of a clip that people just kinda lost their minds over.
Hmm, it's great. Oh my gosh. Well, those are the top grossing, or I should say top earning Pixar movies. And then I have, the top 5 Pixar movies from their Rotten Tomato ratings.
Okay. This time, how about you just tell me the movies and
Mhm.
then I'll rate them.
Okay, cool. So we have Inside Out, Toy Story 1 through 3, and Finding Nemo.
I'm trying to take little notes here so I can keep track.
You're fine. I was doing that too.
Okay, so you said Inside Out,
Mhm. Finding Nemo
Nemo. Okay.
and Toy Story 1 through 3. So Toy Story takes up over half this list.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna be wild and say Inside Out is number one, the best rated.
Just read me your list.
Okay, I'm gonna say Inside Out, Toy Story 1, Nemo, Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. I don't think that's right, but
That's pretty close.
really? Okay.
Yeah, you did a pretty good job. So, Toy Story 3 is number 5,
Okay.
Inside Out is number 4, but Finding Nemo is 3, you got that right. Toy Story 1 is number 2, and you got that right. So, Toy Story 2 is, the highest rated Pixar movie on Rotten Tomatoes.
I do really like Toy Story 2.
Me too, I really like it. But it was almost a completely different story because this is where that deviation of idea of like what direction movies and the studios should go in. That's what started kind of the debate and issue over the idea of doing sequels because the ideas that Disney came with for the sequel movies, because they had kind of adopted that idea of being like, okay, well, now that this is a property that we possess, this is gonna be our decision where we run from it from now. But Pixar felt a lot of ownership over those characters and the story itself. So they were like, no, you can't do a sequel. We don't want you to do that. These are our characters. And they were like, well, you signed on for this many movies. You need to fulfill this part or we're going to do it because there are characters. And they were, in a way to remain in possession of those characters, they took possession of creating that movie. So it was almost a totally different story. So they like got in there, changed everything very quickly and made that movie, and it is the top rated on Rotten Tomatoes. So I thought that was very impressive. I thought it was really interesting. It really is a good movie. We got some really good characters from it too.
I I think Toy Story 2 might be my favorite.
Aw. A favorite ever or favorite of the Toy Stories?
Favorite of the Toy Stories.
That's cute. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but it's good.
I used to babysit, and that was their favorite, so we would watch that a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, that was cute.
And I have a little quote that I wrote down from John Lasseter that he said, "Art inspires technology and technology inspires art." I was like, "Oh, that really sums up Pixar really well, I
That
think."
does. That's a perfect quote for Pixar.
So, to get into a little bit other trivia section that's a little bit more fun. These are like, fun little trivia Pixar movie facts. Ready?
Yes.
What movie does Bruce in Finding Nemo get his name from?
Shark Tale?
No. Jaws.
Oh,
Shark Tale. Whatever. That's a good guess. Sure.
I don't even know if that would make any sense timeline-wise, but I recently watched Shark Tale because they added it to Disney Plus with their merge with Hulu, so it was just on the brain.
I forgot, like, I now that I'm thinking about it, I remember the premise of that movie. Totally didn't think about a shark when you first said it, though. All I could see was Will Smith fish face.
Yes. Yes. That is the movie, really.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, starting off strong. What is Sully's full name?
Oh, I have no idea.
James P. Sullivan.
Oh,
Oh, I had to look it up also. I knew he had a name, but I was like, Sullivan, that's all I got.
yeah, I mean, Sullivan, yeah,
Mhm.
but I didn't know anything else.
Staying in the realm of Monsters Inc., but what is the prestigious fraternity in Monsters University that Mike doesn't make it into?
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
Roar Omega Roar. That sounds like a punchline.
What?
I love the names that they come up with, the fraternities and sororities in that movie.
I love that movie.
It's so funny. It's so cute.
I need to rewatch it.
I like that I like that they were able to like bring in Randall to be a character too.
Yeah, that was great.
Which two actors voiced the two main brothers in Onward?
I have no idea.
Chris Pratt and Tom Holland.
Do they really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. That's very cool.
I didn't know this one either, but I thought it was interesting. What do the letters in Wally's name stand for? It's an acronym.
Um,
Just give me a guess.
World. I have no idea.
Waste allocation load lifter Earth. So like Earth is like I guess his like type of unit or like where
Where
he's
he's
located.
okay.
Yeah.
Say it again.
So Wally is a waste allocation load lifter.
Waste allocation load lifter.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. See, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna know any of these things. I'm so bad with trivia.
I think you'll know this one. What are the 5 core emotions in Inside Out?
Joy, anger, sadness, fear, and
The green one.
I can literally see him.
Mhm.
I can't remember.
Disgust.
Disgust.
That was good. 4 out of the 5. Disgust is it feels like kind of like the odd one out. Like, how often do we think about our emotion of disgust?
Yeah.
But
Not
it
super often.
no, it works for the story, but
It does.
and then finally, which delivery vehicle can be seen in each Pixar movie?
Oh, the pizza port truck.
Pizza Planet.
Pizza Planet. Yes, Pizza
Yeah.
Planet. Yes, yes.
Woo!
I knew one.
You knew him. You knew him. And that's my Pixar trivia.
That's so fun. Let us know in the comments if you knew any of these, or if you knew all of them, or which ones you did know, or if you learned something new. Let us know.
Can I ask, what's your favorite Pixar ride at the park or any of the parks?
Ooh, maybe Incredicoaster.
I was thinking about that too.
I love Incredicoaster.
I was such a weenie about it for so long, but I love it. It's so fun. It does still intimidate me. I'm not a coaster person, but it's so cute. I love Jack Jack. I just wanna I'm like, let's go get that baby.
Let's go get that baby.
They
Yeah.
have some really fun, like, the audio track on that ride I really appreciate and, like, other audio cues that they have, like, at the very end or the little,
When you're
like,
going through
pre-show
the
video.
tunnels and such. I think I overall prefer Screamin', but I love that ride. So I think if I had to choose. Or no, I'm taking that back. Radiator Springs Racers, man.
Yeah.
Radiator Springs Racers, definitely. That's probably is like top 5 all-time favorite rides ever.
Mhm.
That's
That's
definitely my favorite Pixar ride.
it's definitely top tier.
It's so good. Morning time, afternoon, nighttime, anytime. It's beautiful.
Talk about really good audio track too.
Yes, I love
Like,
it.
both of them are, like, behind your head too, so I think that's why I'm so tuned into it.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
true.
on my head.
It All right, you guys. So, thank you so much for listening to our second episode. Next week, we are going to be chatting about some Disneyland nostalgia. We're going to dive into some history of Disneyland um, from the 50s through the 2000s. So, we are really excited to talk to you guys about that. And, Megan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Megan Creedon, Megancreedon. I also have TikTok, but it's linked there. You can always find it. Where can we
Perfect.
find you, Shy?
You can find me as the Disney Obsessed Nurse on Instagram and on TikTok. If you're interested in having a professional travel agent plan your next trip to Disneyland or Disney World, you can reach out to me on my social media platforms. You can also email me at Cheyenne@vincentvacations.com. Cheyenne is SHYANNE at vincentvacations.com. Please subscribe to our podcast. Please give us a 5-star rating. We would really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.